Double Cap SR5 from $149 weekly for 60 months at 5.29% APR with $8,799 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your Prairie Toyota dealer today.
Get the inside scoop for your team on Fantasy Frenzy with Halley and Douglas on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
$11:01. Good morning. Thank you for joining us here. Fantasy Frenzy brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky. Hopefully you guys had a fantastic weekend. Starting to get a little bit nicer out in our fair city. Lots to get to on the program today. But first, we'll tell you about Wilhauk Beef Jerky. It is the best beef jerky in our province. Out in Leduc, go pay them a visit. Tell them we sent you. Or online at wilhaukbeefjerky.com. You can get your orders in there. As well, the text line, 1-833-401-1440. You can also email us, Connor at sports1440.ca and Brandon at sports1440.ca. He is Brandon Douglas. We got Mackenzie McLennan here and Donovan Paulson sitting in for Josh Fenwick, who is potentially nursing a hangover or potentially getting ready to head back to Edmonton. But he went down to Calgary to watch the Flames last night. 18 years in between visits, I think he said.
For a Flames game.
For a Flames game. Now, this is a guy who's been to like 5 events at the Saddledome in his life, but it's been a long time.
Yet a proud Calgarian.
A proud Calgarian, loves the Flames. Dome beers, I think they call them, and he got to watch them lay the boots to the Utah Mammoth, hey? 4-1 win?
The Dome Foam, I believe, is
Dome Foam?
What it's referred to as affectionately south of us.
In the Dome with Jerome, as they used to say.
Whoa, lots of rhymes.
Yeah, back in the day, it was kismet. Your Ducks last night falling to the Canucks in overtime. Cutter Gauthier, 2 goals, ho-hum. 40 goals
40
in
on the year. Pretty good.
Not too bad. The Bruins keeping up the good work. They beat the Blue Jackets 3-2. The Canadians just continue to roll. 3 goals in the second period yesterday. And then last night, yesterday afternoon, Caps blanked the Penguins 3-0. I am so confused about Alexander Ovechkin. I want to get people's thoughts. Just text in a retire or playing. One word, 1-833-401-1440, with what you think of the situation will be next year. Because earlier on in the year, I saw him getting pictures, his kids getting pictures with Connor McDavid. I thought, oh yeah, he's done. And then pregame, he, Malkin, Crosby, and Letang getting a photo. He's done. And then after the game, the Penguins wanted to line up to shake his hand. He declined. Now, maybe he doesn't want to make a big deal about it. That could be it. Or maybe he's coming back next year, Duke. I don't know exactly what Ovi's going to do. I hope he makes a return for one more year. But I'm not sure. I'm kind of leaning towards retirement. Or at least from the NHL. What do you think?
Yeah, that's my inclination, is retire as well. Return home and play year 2 in the KHL in his native homeland while he is still a effective player, which he's proven this year, right? The goal scoring, it's obviously not a 50-goal man anymore, but still as consistent as they really come. And when you look at over 21 years, there's been nobody better. There very well may never be anybody better. He's the highest scoring player in the history of the sport. So, listen, we can list off all of his accolades, but to me, Connor, I'm with you that I would like to see him come back for one more, if for no other reason than to go out on a little bit of a higher note. And so with that in mind, I'm just instead hinging everything on the Flyers coming up short tonight against a Hurricanes team that I think is expected to sit about 7 regulars out of its lineup. Flyers lose again tomorrow, and the Capitals beat the Jackets tomorrow, and the Washington somehow backdoors their way into the final playoff spot. How will they fare potentially against the likes of the Pittsburgh Penguins? I think that would tee up as a great matchup, since they would grab the final Metro spot and not one of the wild cards slots, which are cinched up by Ottawa and Boston. That's what I'm now rooting for. And then he can retire right off into the sunset, even if it's not as a Stanley Cup champion or anything. I don't know if anybody has Washington in that tier of team. I certainly don't. But at least as a playoff series against Sid and Gino and Letang one more time, I think that'd be great.
It would be. So MTR says he also gave Sid and Gino some signed stuff after the game. So that's interesting. The Capitals, winners of 3 straight?
They're doing their best.
Making a little bit of a push, put a little pressure on the Philadelphia Flyers, at least. I really like Dylan Strome at the start of the game, getting kicked out of the circle, getting Crosby and Ovechkin.
And guess what?
Face off.
Sid picked that back clean.
Oh,
no.
Did you hear Ovi mic'd up?
No.
He's like, give me one, Sid. No, just draws it straight back. And yeah, it's awesome stuff. And we'll see what happens. We got a couple texts rolling in here. Joe Daddy says, I think he comes back to get to 1,000 goals. Well, he's at 929. So we probably need to play
2 more years.
2 more years.
And even that at this point, what'd you say he's at 929?
35 goal seasons.
Ugh, yeah.
He has 32 this year. He could heat up, but it's going to be 2 more years
that's what
at
he
least.
does.
So I'm with you. I had long said, when maybe going back 4 years or something, when he maybe wasn't putting up at the biggest rate, although he still was scoring 30 goals. He never really got away from that. I was like, I hope he goes on and beats the record as long as it takes him. And then he got really hot, scored 44 last year.
And that's what I kind of wanted to talk about. This streak he has about scoring 30 goals every year is all of a sudden coming back for another campaign for year 22. The chances of that streak being broken, he loves the game still. I think that is evident. Loves his teammates, loves DC, all these things. Does he care about some of these, I don't know, streaks and records that he holds that listen, they remain in perpetuity to score 30 goals in that many years consecutive? I think maybe with the exception of the COVID year or one of the lockout years. I can't remember exactly. Does putting that at risk factor in at all and not going out on his terms necessarily? Does that matter to him? I have no clue. He's Alex Ovechkin. He's, the fun-loving, goofy guy that loves the game, but I think he's the only one that knows what his decision is going to be. I'm not sure there's any insider outside of his family or anything like that that really has a true idea.
The COVID year, he had 48 goals.
Oh, is that good?
So he was robbed because it was in 68 games. The following year was the shortened season, 45 games, 24 goals.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm...
Yeah. So, you kind of prorate that, and he would have scored quite a few goals that season. But, yeah, it's something interesting to follow along here. Lance says he still wants to play in Russia while he's decent.
Yeah.
I think he'll be done in the NHL after this season. We'll be like the true measuring stick. How good is the KHL? Does Ovi pot 60? Or, is there some tight checking going on? Triple C in a truck texting in 1-833-401-1440. What's more impressive? Ovi highest score in history or LeBron highest score in history?
I think both are
scorers. I don't know. To do it, the longevity that they've both had
and consistency,
staying healthy,
equal.
LeBron has the championships, though he chased, and basketball's a sport where individually you can have more success by carrying the team. I don't know. They're both extremely impressive. Just greatness. So we're lucky that we got to witness both of them.
Yeah, if I had to pick one, I think I may go the Ovechkin route, just because when you talk about who he was chasing in the form of Wayne Gretzky and this total that seemed really untouchable, like so many of Gretzky's records, the fact that Ovechkin did chase it down, he did it faster than I think a lot of people expected him to, as you mentioned earlier, Connor, kind of seeing what he ended up playing and just potting 15 to 20 goals for 3 or 4 years straight in his 40s to try and make this happen, to just get to this benchmark. Well, no, he's hit it, as you said, with a 40-plus goal season last year, followed that up with another 30-goal campaign. He's obviously still an effective NHLer. And to this point, MTR falls up about Kareem's wasn't untouchable. Yeah, I get it. and this is biased because I follow the sport of hockey way closer than I do the NBA. And Jordan came in, generational talent, was, unprecedented, the level of hype he got and the era that he came in, where you're starting to see more coverage and the internet burgeoning at the time. Ovechkin and Crosby, the next 2 years consecutive, a little bit to the same extent, except it's hockey and not basketball.
Mhm.
So, but I think all three players lived up to the hype, which is crazy to say. Both equally impressive, but I'll just lean the Ovi way because, listen, I'm a hockey guy.
Yeah, I mean, one might say it's easier to score in basketball. They're just scoring,
And they give you 2 points or
50
3
plus
points every time.
yeah, in a game there's 50.
Where's the 3-point goal in the NHL?
Yeah,
Never
50 to
seen it.
60 baskets in a game. In hockey, on per team, 3 to 5 on a good night. JP says, crazy how Ovi isn't even in good shape for NHL standards. Well, I think he is. He's just built like a Mack truck.
Yeah.
He's thick as hell. And he runs people. Like, remember young Ovi used to kill guys.
Him on Yager at the Olympics.
It was maybe one of the best hits of all time.
It's awesome.
Everything like surrounding it.
On the forecheck, like putting guys through the glass.
He is still
he was
a 40-year-old man.
He was a pure goal scorer that also was like a power forward. But when he wanted to be or when he needed to be.
The kids that didn't see young Ovi, I feel bad for you. The way I didn't get to see young Gretzky. He was unbelievable. Can you give us an update on Jason Dickinson? Yes.
It's not on the ice.
Not on the ice. Nor is Max Jones today. We'll get probably more news and notes from practice. Draisaitl and Hyman did skate with Owen Michaels, but wearing the gray non-contact sweater. So neither will return tonight, obviously. Connor Ingram's going to get the start. And yes, no Jason Dickinson, no Max Jones. Ike Howard going to play tonight. The Iceman is cometh. He's back.
Expectations on that front. He has lined up to skate on the second line with RNH and Jack Roslovic elevated back into the top six. Kasperi Kapanen returning to the more bulldog type role, speed and power down on the fourth line. What do you think? Are we going to have another conversation tomorrow about why call him up if you're going to play him 5 minutes? This could have been done by Connor Clattenburg or any number of other minor leaguers, or do you think he'll get a legitimate look here against the NHL's very best in the Avalanche tonight?
I think he's going to get a look. I think, you putting him right into the top six to me kind of shows like, okay, let's get you out here and let's play. Down in Baco, 45 games played. He's got 22 goals, 25 assists, 10 PIMs for those who care, and he's a -5. The thing for me, though, 22 goals, like he found his game down there.
So let me follow that up with another question.
Let's do it.
The Oilers power play. They scored 3 goals last week in that win over
San Jose.
I don't know if any of them you would consider textbook power play goals necessarily. Maybe the Pod Colson one, but do you give Ike Howard a look on the power play in a shooter spot?
Sure. Why not?
And I mean PP1, not 10 seconds with PP2.
I would love at this point to give PP2 more looks, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Maybe we cap it at a minute and then we look to make that change. But yeah, why not? Why not give him a look out there? We always talk about when you bring up a player who is offensively minded and gifted and then, bury them in the bottom six and don't give them chances. What are they going to do? It's not their game. We're going to get someone from Baco on with Gregor today to kind of talk about how he's progressed and, has he taken the strides maybe similar to what Matthew Savoy did earlier this year or last year, sorry. I don't know. I would definitely consider it though. PP2 at the very least. How about you?
Yeah, I would. Absolutely. Like you said, this is what we're always clamoring for when players like this get recalled. Put them into positions to succeed. We know that for Chris Knoblauch, a lot of that comes eventually with trust of a player. As much as Ike Howard has improved and found his groove down in the American Hockey League, has he, and this is something I'm interested to hear if you have, whether it be Colin Chalk or Ryan Holt on with Gregor today, is he doing what Matt Savoy did and all of a sudden, being more responsible defensively, adding that to his bag? We know he can score goals. That was the MO on him coming out of MSU as a Hobey Baker winner. To get time for Chris Knoblauch, I think you have to be able to play the game at both ends of the rink to a competent level. And for a pretty green player and experience-wise, that might still be tough for Ike Howard to do. I guess we'll see.
It's kind of interesting too, because the blueprint would be right there. Like if you were Ike Howard, you get sent down. Obviously, he started the year in the NHL, hoped to hang around. It didn't happen, but the blueprint is there. Like, okay, go down. You're going to get power play time. You're going to get top minutes, but also add to your game. Don't just be happy with that. Add to it, like Savoy did, and he found a way, to get back to the NHL, playing here full time, and like he looks great. He's tenacious. He's still got that offensive upside, but he's getting into the game more in other ways. Kyle, just go back to the Ovi conversation. Is there any way if he were to come back, it'd be on a different team to chase another ring? Kyle, I don't think so. Like to me, Ovi's a Capital. Anything is possible. We've seen it.
I would put that definitely third on the list of outcomes.
Retire KHL and then
retire from the NHL, come back for another year, come back for another year on a different team. Different team is a very, very clear and distinct number 3 on the list of likeliness for me.
Okay, let's go 4 options.
Oh, there's a 4th option.
Retire outright. Retire from the NHL, go to the KHL.
Yeah, that's number 1.
A return for another team. It would be 4th, I assume.
Yeah, to me, it would be retire, go to the KHL number 1, come back with the Capitals number 2, retire outright number 3, come back and play for someone other than the Capitals number 4. And I still think that's a pretty distant 4th.
Hypothetically, he's willing to return to another team. Like, I'm chasing the cup.
Pittsburgh Penguins.
Pittsburgh Penguins. Carolina Hurricanes.
Where's the
Colorado Avalanche?
Where are all the Russians playing these days? Minnesota,
LA. Panarin.
Yeah, Panarin, Kuzmenko. That's really it, I guess. Trying to think down in Florida, New York teams.
Bobrovsky might be gone from Florida.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably not, but
yeah, I don't know. It's fun to speculate, I guess, but I just can't even envision him in anything other than a Capitals jersey, which we've said about plenty of other players across a number of sports in the past. I mean, Mike Modano in the Red Wings jersey still just doesn't seem quite right.
Tom Brady made it right because he won a Super Bowl, but
Right.
the first time he marched out there in the pewter, like, what are we doing here? I don't think he ever wore the cream skulls, did he?
Brady? No, I don't
Brady?
think they'd brought those back as
An
a fun
interesting
little
one.
retro.
That's always a fun chat. Players that go to a new team and just look terrible. Like that, like Tomlinson with the Jets for me was just ugh.
Yari Curry, Ducks legend.
he got around at the end of his career.
Yeah,
right?
he made a few different pit
Played a
stops
few
for sure.
teams. There's some good ones out there, though. I'm sure we'll get a few rolling in. MTR says the Kucherov go down as the best Russian player of all time when he's done. I think it'll always go to Ovi just because of the goal scoring record.
It's a pretty. If you talk about a guy like Sergei Fedorov, and if you go way back, right, like even before NHL participation was common, like the Red Army teams,
Yeah,
there was a lot of unbelievable players.
hard for me to say for sure.
Right? Like how do I know? I never watched those guys play except the highlights I see of the Summit Series and watching Miracle with Kurt Russell playing Herb Brooks. Like,
Yeah.
that's the best example I have of what those guys were like. All I know is they steamrolled everybody.
Mhm.
So they were pretty good, I think.
Abman says Datsuk.
Datsuk, Larionov. I mean, any pick from the they literally had a group called the Russian Five,
Yeah,
and they were all unreal. So
Kucherov's got insane numbers and 2 cups. I'm not arguing that Kucherov's not like in the discussion.
You don't need to try and convince me about how good Kucherov is. I'm just saying it's not as easy as you maybe think when people talk about like, well, is Crosby the greatest Canadian ever? Well, no, it's Wayne Gretzky's in front of him, right? We always have a little bit of recency bias. And same as like even someone like Connor McDavid with the point totals he's going to be put up. Is it he's not going to touch Gretzky's numbers? I certainly wouldn't think. But is it the factor? Is it more impressive him doing it in today's version of the NHL if he can hit 2,000 points or whatever, right? Frame it however you so choose. Same goes for Kucherov. In a modern sense, it's unbelievable what he's doing, but he's also going up against, in his own generation, the leading goal scorer in the history of the league.
Yeah.
So it'll be tough.
Kyle said Iginla with the Penguins was an interesting one.
Oh, yeah. Well, Iginla kind of like Curry. He
Bruins.
played for a couple there, the Colorado.
Kings.
Yeah.
Was he in the Kings?
Yeah.
It was weird to see in the silver and black. Lafleur on the Rangers and the Nordiques.
Bobby Orr on the Blackhawks.
That's crazy. That's a crazy one.
There's
Like
lots.
Johnny Unitas with the Chargers. What? Just some crazy. Funny how that happens. I don't know the time, so anything could happen. But I think Ovi's with the Caps. Matt says no creamsicle for Brady, but it would have looked nice. Yeah.
Well, of course.
Jeez.
Everyone looks good in the creamsicle.
Yeah, and he would have made it look
And so
fantastic.
I know we had this discussion last week about the Ducks and their return to the retro thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, Connor, because this was a little bit before my time. When they actually wore them, the creamsicles were made fun of. Like, these are terrible jerseys.
The Bucks?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure those are way before my time, too.
Yeah, but maybe you have a better feel on it. And it also might be because all they did was lose.
They were so bad. That's why I think it was laughed at.
But now, nostalgia, we love these.
Yeah.
Bring them back full time.
And if they bring them back full time, give it 10 years, and people will want to go back to
The digital
Pewter.
clock numbers.
Well, I don't think they'll ever want to go back
Put
to
those numbers on the creamsicle jerseys. Best of both worlds.
You mock it up, and we'll take a look.
Yeah, I'll fab something up.
I can only go for my personal bias as a Chargers fan. Chargers fans now want navy blue back. For years, they wanted powder blue. And now they're like, that navy looks pretty good. It's just, you always want what you can't have.
You want what you don't have. It is absolutely... I'm guilty of it with the Blue Jays, too. Anytime they wear the powder blues, I was like, these are awesome. Now they're in the regular rotation. I was like, these get worn too much.
Oh, I hate those. Hate those jerseys. They're some of the best ones out there.
The crispness of the royal blue and the white, like the contrast of them is
Beautiful.
so good.
It's like one of the best jerseys in sports. Then they roll out this
I like the powder blue,
pajamas.
but I think they're just too, and especially when like it's full powder blue, head to toe. I've said this 100 times. I'll say it 100 more. I'm not a fan of essentially any color in a full monotone uniform.
They look like they're like soft pajama pants. That you wear.
I can hear that out for sure.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll get more into your text. 1-833-401-1440. Imitation Tom said Ryan Smith. Anywhere else? Yeah, that Islanders jersey. At least you went blue to orange, right? It's Fantasy Frenzy brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
For the first time in 66 years, Golden Bears and Pandas hockey are on the move. During the 2026-27 Canada West season, two of the most successful hockey programs in U Sports history will call Silent Ice Center in Nisku their temporary home. The Golden Bears and Pandas are excited to connect with the South Edmonton community and welcome new fans to experience the tradition and excitement of U of A hockey. Same tradition, new temporary home. Golden Bears and Pandas hockey at Silent Ice Center for the 26-27 season.
At GS Construction, we're multitaskers. We've got lots of projects going on all around Edmonton and area. Different teams across the city working towards the same outcome. Installing today what will serve generations to come. It's a rewarding career and the work never stops. That's why GS Construction is always on the lookout for great people to join us. Right now, we're looking for experienced topmen, pipe layers, operators, and surveyors. So if you want to feel valued, empowered, and engaged in your work, visit gsconstruction.ca today.
Want to invest in Alberta's workforce, fill your talent pipeline, and get funding? Careers, the next generation connects employers with motivated, pre-vetted youth through funded internships. Easy, impactful, and risk-free.
When you work with a group like Careers who have experience in that area, they can demystify and navigate all the complex steps and stakeholders that have to be involved.
Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth, fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off a $150 service. We're basically the VLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
Good to go. With Mortgages to Go, you'll be good to go. MortgagesToGo.ca says yes when the banks say no. That's why Alberta has trusted Mortgages to Go for over 23 years. If you need cash and have equity in your home, you're approved instantly. Guaranteed. Call 1-888-888-5998. That's 1-888-888-5998. With Mortgages to Go, you'll say, good to go.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply,
your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
Hey, it's Jamie from Green Drop Lawn Care. You've known and trusted us as Canada's lawn expert since 1979. In all that time, the only thing we've loved to watch grow and flourish more than your lawn is our community. You've given us so much over the years, and we love to give back. Our community events crew is on the streets, at the festivals, and helping grow great causes and charities across the city. We love knowing your lawn is taken care of, and we'll help take care of the community too. Visit greendrop.com, and we'll see you out there.
This May, look for your census letter in the mail. The information you provide helps plan services in your community that support employment, transit, education, healthcare, and more. It's easy to fill out and completely confidential. Find out more at census.gc.ca. Your census, your community, our future. A message from the Government of Canada.
Who should start? Who needs to hit the bench? Find out with Fantasy Frenzy with Halley and Douglas. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by Will Hawk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
'26. Welcome back to Fantasy Frenzy. Brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky. The Duke was feeling the Drake right there.
That's what you call the headphone zone.
Yeah.
One of my favorite disc jockeys on CKGY in Red Deer growing up. That's what she would call it all the time.
So you just turn the phones up.
That's like when you're in the studio, you're the only one there, but you just put the headphones on, just crank it up, just vibe out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good song.
Great song.
It's nice. It's good.
I don't know if you knew this or not, Connor, but our regular digital producer Josh Fenwick, he once had a friend that only listened to Drake.
One time they went out,
and not with Drake.
No,
not to be confused.
Yeah, that you know what? That friend doesn't sound that bad to me. I think Drake has a lot of good hits.
I like more of his old stuff, but including that one that we just played, that whole album from that song, it was really good, but neither here nor there. Did you see, it's just while we're on that topic, his iced out seats at Scotiabank?
I did. I don't get it.
I don't really get it either, but
I don't know what it means.
Oh, because I think his new album is called Iceman.
Really?
Yeah.
There's so many Icemen.
There's so much battle for the ice. Who was the former basketball player, I think, that got mad at Caleb Williams for trying to trademark Iceman?
Well, did he get mad or did fans get mad?
No, he was saying, he's like, listen, you can have that nickname. That's cool. I'm cool with that, but don't be trying to trademark it for some reason.
George Irvin.
Yeah.
Gervin,
the Iceman.
Hey.
And we got Ike Howard.
And we got Drake.
Edmonton's Iceman. So that's a great nickname on any number of fronts. Does that name fit for a basketball player? You play indoors. Like Caleb Williams, he's out of the frozen confines of Soldier Field and also dealing it at Lambeau sometimes too. Like, I think that name fits there. You play hockey in Edmonton in a northern environment, Iceman, that nickname fits. I'm not trying to take anything from Gervin. He obviously, the nickname predates me by a long time. I'm sure he earned it, but it just doesn't really seem to fit on a basketball player for me. Personal opinion.
Well, he was cool and calm, like ice in the veins, you know?
Yeah, obviously I know why you get that nickname, but sometimes there has to be a little bit of a fit too.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, hey, what do you want me to do here? I got no answer for you.
I want you to offer an opinion, Connor. This is Sports Radio.
Just a nickname. It doesn't matter.
Nothing
matters, some people say.
Nothing matters. We all die someday.
This segment brought to you by elksnation.ca, 2 weekly podcasts. Eddie Steele, Declan Kruger, breaking down the green and gold. Also, check out the website, elksnation.ca. Articles, podcast, all the info right there. Go check it out. Elks, man, this season's going to be a lot of fun. 3, Pete Forsberg says, another wild stat for Ovi is that he's also ranked number 3 in hits all time. Just unheard of.
But, and I'm not taking away. When did they start recording hits as a official?
I think it was 2005.
So when Ovi started playing?
Yeah. Kyle Clutterbuck leads the way with over 4,000. The hitman, as they call him. Matt Martin's second, just under. Luke Shin with 70 hits could surpass Ovi.
That's crazy.
Radko Gudas, if he can throw a few more, he can get up there. He's only 800 away from the all-time mark.
You are correct, Connor. Starting in the 05-06 season.
Oh, if I can't have takes, at least I can have correct information,
You've got
right?
stats and data. You're a numbers guy.
That's how I back it up. Let's scroll up here to the text line. 1-833-401-1440. Rod says, I wish I had headphones to buy out Drake.
Well, you don't like Drake, Rod? Canadian treasure.
I think.
And a Canadian treasure that doesn't like forget his roots. Still, what do they call it? Shows out for the 6.
Mm-hmm. Someone's got to do it.
Not like the Beebs.
Because Gervin's game was ice cold, buddy. Wake up.
I get it.
Wake up,
I get
Duke.
why he has the nickname. I'm just trying to provide an alternative perspective.
Yeah. Hey, it's just a nickname. People can have the same nickname.
Connor, can I interest you in an update on Oilers injuries?
Yeah, do it. Actually, no. Let Low Tide break it.
This is via our own Jason Greger down at the morning skate. Hyman might play Thursday.
Cool. That's
good.
And Dickinson?
Maybe. Jones is out 3 to 4 weeks.
Oh.
Dickinson, no set timeline, will not play the final 2 regular season games.
Draisaitl?
Nothing.
Just wait and see. We won't know until the music kicks off and the players hit the ice on whatever it'll be. Sunday.
For the playoffs?
Saturday?
Playoffs,
yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Here's a speculative one from
and then this is just tacked on from Tom Gazzola via X. Leon Draisaitl expected sometime in round 1 of the playoffs.
All right. Invitation Tom says, who on the Oilers would make the look the strangest in a new jersey? I would say Nuge.
Darnell Nurse.
Connor McDavid. Look new and sad.
Don't hold your breath.
Lance says Broder in the Blues jersey always made me sad.
Yeah, that wasn't exactly a great fit.
No. That's one that I would say I forget about quite often. He played 7 games. Just below 900 save percentage. But yeah, that's definitely a good one as well, Lance. Thanks for texting in. Couple more text here.
I got one more. Jonathan Quick, going to play his last game, announce his retirement as a Columbus Blue Jacket. Never actually played a game for them, but he was with them for like a day, I think.
I thought he already retired, to be honest with you.
What?
Is he hurt right now?
No, he's playing tonight.
Oh, I thought you just said he never played a game.
For the Jackets. He plays for the Rangers.
Why are you talking about the Jackets?
He was on the Blue Jackets.
Oh.
What are we... Am I taking crazy pills here?
Well, why did you even bring them up?
Because we were talking about guys that looked weird in different jerseys.
But he never wore it.
Well, he maybe did for like a photo for the team website.
I don't think he did.
I don't think so either.
Paper transaction only. I was like, how did I miss
He
this?
was also a Stanley Cup champion with the Vegas Golden Knights. That in itself is kind of tough to...
Hockey DB doesn't have the trophy beside his time there, though. Did you know that?
I am seeing that right now.
Only with the Kings. Only 2 others.
Savage. Well, he didn't play a playoff game, right? So
I was so confused. I'm like, how did I miss this? He's with the Rangers, Jonathan Quick.
That's right.
Yeah, good for him. Heck of a career. 2 Stanley Cups.
Hall of Famer.
In the NHL, maybe eventually. Conn Smythe in 2012. The Jennings Trophy twice. At his peak, because, you know, those early 2010s, did you look at him as one of the best goalies in the NHL?
100%. One of the best goalies. I think he was the guy that you said, come playoff time, who do you want to win you a 7-game series? I think he was that guy.
Elevated his game in those cup runs.
In the cup runs, he was unbelievable. Obviously, the year in 2012, like that was the year the Kings were an 8 seed, and go on to win the Stanley Cup, he was unconscious.
And 9.46 save percentage.
Is that good? He's number 12 all time in wins. Ahead of the likes of Glenn Hall, Grant Fuhr, Chris Osgood, Dominic Hasek. 828 games played, which I believe is also in the top 12, sorry, there as well. So 12th in wins, 12th in games played. Consistent.
All right, I'm in.
I think there's a very strong case.
2 rings, yeah. I give him
never
the
won
Hall of Fame
never
induction.
won a Vezina, but Jennings Trophy, which is kind of a team award. Because it's just lowest goals against for a team. And any goalie that's on the team wins it as a collective. So
yeah, you know what? I haven't looked too much into it, but just based on the numbers you've given me, I think I'd say Hall of Famer.
I'm a big fan of his. And I love the way he played, like athletic, mobile, not a huge guy, like relied on playing the position in a more old school way, as opposed to a blocker, like just big goalie that takes up the net. I love watching him play, especially at his peak.
Still a big dude though, for me. 6'1", 220.
Oh yeah.
Not this 6 foot.
Yeah, he's not Vasilevsky.
Yeah.
Which is why Vasilevsky just is crazy, because it's kind of the modern goaltender too, where they're all 6'4" plus and can move like Jonathan Quick did at his peak. And you say, how do players score goals?
Yeah. We also had a trade today in the major leagues, eh? Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Donovan, you want to give some analysis on the new Blue Jay? But don't swear.
Yeah. Lenine Sosa is his name. If you didn't see the deal, it was, there's a good reason for it. It's not exactly great.
He's not a blockbuster.
Not a blockbuster. He's got a career negative 1.3 WAR. So for those of you who don't really look at WAR, don't really know what that means he is, substantially below average and provides you basically no value. On the season, negative 0.3 WAR, career 37 home runs. It's not exactly an impact level player. This is a guy who you probably acquired to do you some base running and give you, I guess, some level of defensive replacement. I don't really understand it.
Well, they need bodies right now.
They do.
They're going down like flies.
But man, if Lenine Sosa is the guy you're acquiring, that really kind of speaks volumes.
Who would you rather play on a game-to-game basis, Sosa or Eloy Jimenez?
Eloy Jimenez, and it's not even close.
I think I'm probably with you. But little just depth, infield depth.
But buddy, like at least Eloy Jimenez was at one point capable of playing in the majors. Lenine Sosa is a guy who could barely make the Chicago White Sox worst team of all time. That tells you all you need to know.
Maybe we just need to change of pace, change the scenery, you know?
Also, weird question for you fellas. So in talking about like Jonathan Quick and the Columbus Blue Jackets situation, traded obviously a day later after being acquired by the Jackets, who is the player who never actually suited up for a team, whether that's like signed with the team and then never actually played a game for them? What's the weirdest one that you think has ever happened? For me, the name that comes to mind is, remember when Henrik Lundqvist signed with the Washington Capitals?
Oh yeah, but then he had his blood condition. He never played and then retired. I think Josh Fenwick had this as a in or out topic one time when Kevin was on holidays, and I believe I described it as maybe the worst question ever asked on in or out, because it was on the heels of Chris Paul being acquired by the Raptors, and the way he phrased. And I think you were doing in or out, Donovan, but Josh gave you the question, and it was terrible. It
was the worst phrase question.
So that's my answer. Chris Paul is a Toronto Raptor.
Antonio Brown is a Buffalo Bill. He would have potentially been able to grow with Josh Allen.
Antonio Brown is a Las Vegas Raider.
Yeah, he actually agreed to go there. The dang helmet really
arrives via hot air balloon.
He was
one of the craziest the entire Antonio Brown arc is insanity.
The best was like Derek Carr, like in Gruden. They're like, we're gonna throw for 7,000 yards.
He's like, this is crazy. And then
he's never played.
Brown shows up on a hot air balloon. He froze his own foot off in like cryogenic chamber. And then also he refused to wear a different helmet.
Yeah.
And he called the GM a cracker.
He never deserved that, Mike Mayock. I loved Mike Mayock on NFL Network as an analyst. He was great. Brock Lesnar with the Vikings. Lindros with the Nordiques.
Yeah, good point.
Richter with the Oilers. Who's the other Oiler that signed, but then the rumor was his wife didn't approve it?
Oh, I don't know.
We'll get that coming in.
I don't know about that one, but what about Tom Brady with the Expos?
Yeah, because he was drafted
But
by
he never
them,
even
right?
played baseball.
He was drafted.
Okay, Kyler Murray in the Athletics.
So many athletics. So many athletes that were drafted to play in the Major League Leagues of Baseball. I don't know. There's got to be lots like that. Shea Weber, Philly. Where's Carey Price now?
San Jose.
See San Jose?
Sharks legend.
There's another one.
Well, the being traded when you're not at least like Weber signed the deal in Philly, right, as an offer sheet, and then Nashville just matched it. So he was never actually a member of the Flyers, technically. Whereas some of these other ones, like Shea Weber as what is he, Chicago Blackhawk now? Chris Pronger is an Arizona Coyote. Those don't count. I'm sorry, they don't.
Well, then neither does my Antonio Brown as a Bill. Gronk is a Detroit Lion.
Yeah.
Just threatened to retire.
You do that, I will retire.
No, that's a good move by the player to have that sort of power. We'll take a break here. When we come back, let you know what's coming up in the Lowdown with Lowtide and the Jason Gregor Show. It is Fantasy Frenzy, brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
With the lead up to the playoffs underway, players are definitely stepping up their game.
And the fans are doing the same. Simple snacks like chips and dip may work at the front half of the season, but now more and more fans are rocking the Will Hawk Beef Jerky for game time get-togethers.
Just make sure you bring enough for everyone if you want to be invited back for the playoffs.
Make your next hockey game day a Will Hockey game day with Will Hawk Beef Jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't win games with salad.
When my husband and I said until death do us part, I never expected to find myself at the doorstep of divorce. I was facing an uncertain financial future, expensive lawyer bills, and most importantly, I was concerned for the well-being of my kids. My spouse and I turned to Fairway Divorce Solutions for help. Fairway walked us through a step-by-step process, allowing us to develop a clear roadmap to resolve financial concerns and provide a proactive co-parenting strategy. It helped us avoid chaos and courtrooms.
For a no-cost consultation, visit fairwaydivorce.com.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Do you listen to sports radio at work? Like right now? Well, do you? Who, me? No way. I swear. Okay, friend, we won't tell. Tens of thousands of sports fans listen to Sports 1440 each and every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. If you listen to Sports 1440 at work, well, maybe it's time to advertise on Sports 1440 at work. Grow your business. Get your name out there. Shoot our ad team an email. Gregor@sports1440.ca. Let's get to work for you.
No fluff, no fillers, just pure entertainment. Sports 1440 brings the heat with bold opinions, big personalities, and Edmonton's fiercest fans. This is your turf. This is Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, jersey barriers, and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned, over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Start thinking spring road trips and off-road trips in your new Subaru Crosstrek. Stylish, rugged, and so many features. Standard on every Crosstrek. Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive, EyeSight driver assist technology, heated seats, and LED steering responsive headlights. Plus, with interest rates from 0.99%, you'll love the affordable weekly payments. No waiting, immediate delivery available. Subaru Crosstrek. Visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
Every coach needs a game plan. Plan your fantasy frenzy with Halley and Douglas right here on Edmonton's Sports 1440.
Presented by Will Hawk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
Here on Sports 1440, brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky, the home of Alberta's best beef jerky, online at willhawkbeefjerky.com. Go pay him a visit. That mic arm is getting a little less squeaky now.
I'm trying to feather it. I'm trying to be nice to it.
Well, we had the idea to get some WD-40 on it, but then our engineer, Troy, who knows a lot more than we do, was like, I don't want to use that. And just hasn't come back yet.
He tried just to loosen some of these bolts that hold it on. That made it worse. So I've retightened those. Yeah, I don't know. It's fine.
Just a little squeaky. We'll get over it.
It's got character.
Shout out to those of you watching YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Hey, also on Facebook over the weekend, we went over 10,000 followers, subscribers, whatever it is.
Whoa, friends.
Yeah. So if you don't follow us on Facebook, what are you doing?
Get in with the hip crowd.
Maybe you're too young for Facebook.
See, here we kind of dogged Facebook a little bit last week because of some of the articles and stuff that comes up from non-legitimate sources. Follow Sports 1440, and that's where you get your legitimate news, clips from the shows, podcast links, all that stuff. So it can crowd out all the AI. What do they call that? Brain rot? Slop. Thank you. Thank you, Mackenzie. The slop. It'll crowd out the slop when you fill your feed with legitimate pages.
Yeah, exactly. You got to check in on that. Make sure. Yeah, like those things we see are just. There was another one I don't think I sent you over the weekend that blew my mind. I forget exactly.
We were for those listening. Connor sent me one last week. It was when we talked about it, and I said that'd be a great segment on the show. Worst Facebook article you saw this week.
There's so many. It's so bad. And then the people believe it. That's the worst part about it. What you can believe, though, is that Low Tide is coming up next, noon to 2. Rachel Krychek, Jason Greger.
Rachel Krychek will be on tomorrow.
Oh, well, Greger will be on today. Do we know who's coming on instead?
I think they may be trying to sneak together an Avalanche guest.
John Michael Lyles?
Well, not John Michael Lyles. He reserves his time for the premier spot of the morning show, but maybe someone else.
I'll try to find Declan's tweet if he has put one out yet. They'll talk about it though. Update you as a practice.
Low Tide also told us this morning they're planning on doing a dive into the Condors.
Okay.
Mike Howard, relevant topics and such. I don't know if that's going to be with Greger on their own. Both probably.
Condor's traveling today. I just found that out, so that's going to make it a little tougher to get someone from Baco.
Declan just retweeted about a footballer that unfortunately passed away. No show tweet. He also 17 minutes ago tweeted a picture of Dwayne Wade and LeBron, $5 tip option at Starbucks. And it's LeBron looking like, dude, what's this? That's my verbalization of this tweet. The best version of Twitter.
Declan's going to come in here and he's going to tell us about how funny that tweet is. But because of his algorithm, no one sees it.
Declan will come and say, that tweet's hilarious and nobody likes it because my stuff doesn't show up in the algorithm. I liked it.
One time I quoted one of his tweets.
And I think it blew up?
No, he's like, stole my stuff. I'm like, I'm putting light on it, man. Come on.
You can't have it both ways.
I'm showing you things. From noon to 2, though. It'll be a great show. Then at 2 o'clock, it is the Jason Greger show. No Brownie. Woke up feeling a little under the weather, but we'll have Kevin Woodley join us. Corey Massasak covers the Avs, so we'll talk about that.
He was at the Frozen Four this weekend, too. Watched Denver win the Natty.
My pick.
Vegas.
Pick them to win.
You're red hot, Connor. First, you nail the top 3 guys at the Masters.
I didn't.
Oh.
It didn't finish that way.
Oh, but not, well, it just
pretty close.
What do they call that? A round robin. Like it could just be any combination of these 3. They were 1, 2, 3. Rory, Scheffler, and Cam Young was T3.
He was tied, though.
But ties count most of the time when you're putting bets in.
Well, then I would have nailed it. You can go watch it. I'm not making this up.
My big bet for it, like outside type name, was Jake Knapp, documented Ducks fan. I had him to finish top 10. Would have been a nice little payout to cover the rest of my losses in the weekend. Finished 11th.
Looks like he had a little bit of a nap on the field. Of course. Anywho, yeah, he was what? Well, -2 on the final day. Better than Rory.
Oh, yeah.
Better than Young. Not as good as Hatton.
No, Terrell had a great day. As did Scotty.
He did. Pretty dang good. And Oma. Pretty dang good course conditions as well. Hey, it looked nice out there.
Yeah, like we've seen quite a bit of they said the winds picked up yesterday and they were having a pretty big impact on some shots, the swirling winds. But in years past, where we've seen a lot of rain and some sloppier, soggier conditions at times, it was pretty baked out, made putting, a little difficult in the back half of the tournament, which is kind of what you want, right? You want the course to challenge the players. And in the case of Augusta, outside of its length, that's kind of how it can do it to you. The undulations, the tricky greens that are absolutely speedway fast. I liked it. And I said this with Kevin and Eddie this morning. It wasn't received very popularly. I'm sorry if I'm just a hater. I was rooting for Rory to choke yesterday.
You are a hater.
I was rooting for Rory to choke. And part of it is because I wanted to see a playoff hole again. We got that last year with the drama. I wanted it again, but this time I wanted it like 4 or 5 guys in the playoff hole. There were so many all hurtling around, but then Scotty missed a couple chances to close that gap. But like Rose fell apart a little bit. That one kind of duffed chip on the par 3 stands out, looming pretty large. And it ended up, listen, it was still close. But Rory, he was in control as the last group. Like he only just had to manage the course for the last few holes to take home a second straight green jacket.
Kind of like it's a unique thing in golf where you could be Scheffler and you're just waiting. Like I might not be done. Well, you got to stay loose just in case.
And head over to the range, smack a few around.
Just in case. You're not trying to look cocky like this is going to happen, but if it does happen, you got to be ready. It would have been cool if they were all like -10 and then you got a bunch of guys out there.
Yeah, that would have been sweet. That's what I mean. I was hoping for Rory just to, when he ended up in the woods on, I think it was 18, right off the tee shot, and
use immediate
just rattle one off a tree trunk or something, and all of a sudden like be staring down double bogey, like need to make a putt to win, misses it, playoff hole. And in that case, it would have just been against Scotty because he was already in at 11 under. But maybe in that same situation, Cam Young gets a birdie on the last hole to get to -11 as well. And we can have a three-way playoff hole. That'd be awesome.
MTR says, too bad Cam Young didn't have any more sponsors on his shirt.
Hey, man, they got to make a living.
Yeah. Well, absolutely.
I'm sure tied for third at the Masters doesn't pad the pocketbook quite enough to cover your expenses for the next 8 years.
I would look like a NASCAR car if I was in the PGA too, man. I'd be loaded.
The Ricky Bobby car. Yeah. This sticker is dangerous and inconvenient, but I do love Big Newtons.
Exactly. On my sunglasses is McDonald's.
Yeah. It's like screened on there so you can still see through them, but with people looking at you, they just read McDonald's across each of your lenses.
Yeah. They're like those cool glasses that are like holographic. Like people would have like little skulls on theirs.
Oh, yeah.
Mine would just be company logos.
Just like golden arches.
Yeah. It'd be unbelievable.
I like it.
Get it while you can. And I was going to, like, you can't say golf is a short career. You can play golf for a long time. And then there's also an old man tour.
The seniors.
Also old woman tour where you can keep on golfing, keep on making money.
Yeah, so the 4 guys that tied for third, Hatton, Henley, Rose, and Young, each took home just under $1.1 million.
And how about Rory?
Rory, $4.5 million.
That's not bad.
I wouldn't hate it.
He's going to need that money to pay for next year's dinner.
True, a good chunk of it.
Okay, so
here's the question. Does he run it back or does he change it up?
Oh, you got to keep it going. Same thing.
Yeah, like how do you mess with a winning formula?
Now, forgive my ignorance. As soon as it wrapped up, we got in the car and drove over to my parents for a Sunday dinner. Who gave him the jacket?
The chairman. Ridley.
He did just give it to himself? Thanks, Rory.
I remember he said that at the end of last year's, right? He's like, I want to be in Scotty's position, but putting the jacket back on myself.
He should have.
You just like pin up the arms like on a coat rack. You just kind of like slip into it behind you.
I said he should have put it on the ground and like.
That would never happen at Augusta. That's desecration of the green jacket.
Or he just puts it on himself.
Just like a normal person puts on a coat.
Yeah, exactly.
No, the chairman puts it on him. I'm pretty sure it's the chairman that's sitting at the little interview with him.
Yeah, maybe he was nervous. He's like, I don't want to do this. I hope there's a tie, and he loses, and it didn't happen.
I don't think the chairman is too shy about getting in front of cameras.
Evidently not. A great event though, great weekend, and golf season in Edmonton. Although I heard the weather's supposed to be a little cooler later on in this week, but. It's close. You'll be out there soon. Duke's just swinging away. Swinging for the fences.
Want to be out there taking Donovan's money?
Oh, yeah.
On the course.
When you guys hit the links at 12:30.
When I'll bet Josh Fenwick every time he pulls a 8-iron out of his bag that he's not hitting it 190 yards.
He says he can?
I think he said that's his 7.
Oh.
And not 100, I think like 178.
Maybe he just like cranks his wrists and changes the angle.
Listen, lots of people can hit their clubs that far. I just don't see it from Josh Fenwick.
Well, maybe we'll ask him tomorrow when he returns from his little journey to Calgary. For the Duke, Donovan, Mac, I'm Connor Halley. Thank you guys for joining us on the show today. Up next, it is the Lowdown with Lowtide. But first, Sports 1440 update time with Mackenzie, brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky. Online, wilhaukbeefjerky.com, only available in Leduc.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
10 games in the NHL tonight. The Oilers are back at Rogers hosting the Avs. Puck drop at 7:30. We've got pregame coverage with Andrew Walker at 6:30. Lots of playoff implications around the league. Carolina's on the road in Philly. Nashville looks to snag the second wildcard spot, taking on San Jose. And the Kings look to extend their lead in the wildcard race in Seattle. Vegas and Winnipeg have the nightcap. Veteran goaltender Jonathan Quick announced today that he is retiring after the season and will make his last ever start as the New York Rangers take on the Panthers. No games in the NBA tonight as the play-in tournament starts tomorrow. 10 games in the MLB. Houston and Seattle start things off at 2:10. Diamondbacks are in Baltimore. Cubs take on Phillies. Yankees host the Angels at Yankee Stadium. Boston starts their series against the Twins. And Mets look to bounce back after losing all 3 over the weekend. Blue Jays not in action today, but did make a move acquiring infielder Lenin Sosa from the White Sox in exchange for minor league outfielder Jordan Rich and a player to be named later or cash considerations. Next on Sports 1440, the Lowdown with Lowtide, Declan Kruger and Donovan Paulson. I'm Mackenzie, and this has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440. Stingray